It's me, Hiroshi. I sent you the URL of YouTube Live. So would you put it on the website? Too soon? Maybe too soon. Yeah, just would you just check it, and if you can see that yourself. I sent you the URL of YouTube Live. So would you put it on the website? So too soon? Maybe too soon. Yeah, just would you just check it, and if you can see that yourself. Can you hear me, Andrew? Probably the YouTube Live stopped. I mean, the sound from YouTube Live has stopped. Yeah, can you hear me, Andrew? Oh, good. What's the volume of my voice? Good enough? Clear? Okay, thanks. Great feedback. I appreciate it. 英語学科の先生方、すみません。今から音を流すので、この音が聞こえるか、チャットで返事をお願いします。どうでしょうか？今 BGM 聞こえましたでしょうか？はい、ありがとうございます。よかったです。声が小さかった。声が小さかった。はい、ありがとうございます。声がちっちゃかった。音量が小さい。じゃあもう一度流します。はい、わかりました。ありがとうございました。今の BGM の音量と、後でスピーチを流す時のスピーカーの音量と多分同じぐらいだと思うんですけど、もしスピーカーの、声がもう少し大きい方がいいとかいうのがあったら、すぐチャットでお知らせください。それから私のこの声も今もしかしたら大きいんですかね、さっきよりも。ちょっとその辺がここではわからないので、だいたい見当をつけて調整しますけれども、何かお気づきのことがあったら、チャットで教えてください。よろしくお願いします。間本先生、YouTube の方ありがとうございます。 Ooh. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second KANAME Cup, that is Seinanjo Gakuin All Japan High School English Speech Contest. I'm Hiroshi Otani. I'm the MC of this contest today and the host of the webinar session and also the committee chair. I have 3 roles to take. So sometimes I use English like this now, but probably I'll use a lot of Japanese too. Okay. Now, let us start the second KANAME Cup. first, I'd like to give you some greetings as chair of, as committee chair. 改めまして、こんにちは。西南女学院大学要杯実行委員長大谷と申します。この度はご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。現在、ウェビナー上に27名の方が見てくださっているようです。ありがとうございます。今年はもうとにかくコロナの影響でさまざまな教育活動に支障が生じ、この要杯も開催を断念かというところも検討したのですが、やはり学びは止めてはならない、そういう強い思いで開催することにし、このようなオンラインでの開催ということになりました。で、今こうして YouTube ライブを含め開催できていることを非常に嬉しく思っております。また、この要カップは昨年創設したんですけれども、昨年の応募者が31名で、今年はこういう状況ですから参加者があるかどうか非常に心配したのですが、去年の3倍の90名という15名のファイナリストに残るためには競争率6倍という数多くのご応募をいただきまして誠にありがとうございます。非常に嬉しく思っております。で、いかんせんいろいろ全てが初めてのことですので、手探りの状態で始めていて、例えば申し込みも全てオンライン、音声ファイル、それから原稿もオンライン、それから本選に進まれた方は動画もご自分で撮っていただいて、それをまたオンラインで提出していただくという、一般的なスピーチ大会だと郵送とかいろいろあると思うんですけれども、そういう中で新しい応募の仕方に取り組んでいただきましてありがとうございます。いろいろ思わぬトラブルがあったり、大変だったりあったと思います。そのあたりはご指導いただいた先生方感謝いたします。ありがとうございます。いろいろな連絡も高校の現場ではなかなか授業中等にメールチェック、休み時間等を含めてしにくい状況があったかと思うんですが、フォローしていただきまして、こうやって開催することができております。もう本当にその一言に尽きる思いです。コロナに負けずに、こうして多くの高校生、諸君の英語の勉強の一つの目標にしてもらって、勉強につながったという、もうそれがもうとても嬉しく思います。応募いただいた今日今からご紹介する15個のスピーチ、一つ一つに対して後ほど紹介します3人のジャッジの先生方から一人一人にコメントがつけられています。これもメール添付で、お送りいたします。多分割と早い時に今日明日に送れるのではないかと思っております。それから最後になりますが講演をいただいた企業様、各団体様、本当にありがとうございます。こういう中で、スピーチ大会に対してご支援いただくというのは非常に厳しいところがあったと思うんですけれども、こうして開催できました。ありがとうございます。それでは引き続きまして審査員の紹介や賞の紹介等を進めてまいりたいと思います。ありがとうございました。Now, let me introduce the three judges for today. First, Chief Judge, Professor Kensaku Yoshida, the Director of the Center for Language Education and Research at Sophia University。上智大学の吉田先生です。私の恩師であります。Judge, Ms. Barbara Sakamoto, the Director of the International Teacher Development Institute。列語シリーズという子ども向けの教科書の著者の一人でいらっしゃいます。世界的なベストセラーの教科書です。The third judge, Mr. Nicholas Kemp, Associate Professor of English at Kyushu International University。旧国大のニコル先生、ケンプ先生です。たくさんのスピーチコンテストで審査員をされ、経験豊かな先生です。講演をご覧のような各団体、企業様からいただいております。西南女学院大学、福岡県教育委員会、福岡県教育委員会、北九州市教育委員会、公益財団法人日本英語検定協会、北九州ゾンタクラブ、クライストチャーチ工科大学、ニュージーランドです。ウィンチェスター大学、UK です。カシオ計算機株式会社様。協賛です。東京書籍株式会社様、日本航空様、JTB 様、オックスフォード大学出版局様、ケンブリッジ大学出版様、株式会社アウルズ様、株式会社内田洋子様、地元特別協賛です。西鉄旅行株式会社北九州支店様、株式会社小倉しましま様、医療法人井上秀俊家様、ブラッスリー・リップ様、以上です。ご支援に心より感謝いたします。続きまして、副賞景品の一部ですが、ご覧いただけたらと思います。ご覧いただけてるでしょうか。マイクが声が少し遠くなるかもしれません。大きな声で話します。これが、盾ですね。トロフィーですと、今回は郵送になりますので、大きくなるために今年は盾にしております。右側が学校賞です。それからこれはアウルズ賞のトロフィーです。英検定協会様からの賞状です。JTB 様からのぬいぐるみです。これが旅行クーポンです。北九州ゾンタクラブ様からはこのような素晴らしい、プレートをいただいております。内田洋子様からはe ラーニングの、目録、ジャパンエアラインズ様からはこのようなメモ用紙で、後ほど紹介いたします。大体賞状のデザイン、イメージとしてはこのようなものになっております。直接協賛という形ではいただいておりませんが、応文社様からもこのような辞書を5冊ほどいただいております。先ほど少し触れましたけれども、KANAMEカップでは出場者全員に出場証明書を差し上げております。場合によっては面接、入試等で、使用していただけるかもしれません。それから指導教員の皆様に感謝状をお送りいたします。これはこの大会のユニークなところではないかと思うのですが、 指導の先生方というのは学生が頑張ってくれたらそれでいいんですけれども、大会、それに対してねぎらってもらう場というのがあまりないように感じることがあります。本当にもう心ばかりのものではあるのですが、感謝状を指導教員の先生方にお送りしたいと思っております。それでは今日のこれからご覧いただく15名のスピーチの紹介をさせていただきます。Speaker number one、山本アンナ。Sorry。すいません、これ自動でちょっと動いてしまうようで、ホームページのプログラムにあったものと同じものです。途中でちょっと読み上げているのとズレが生じるかもしれませんが、お許しください。気がついた分には自分で修正いたします。Speaker number one、山本アンナ、西南女学院高等学校、Seize the day。Speaker number two、坂本蓮、長崎南山高等学校、Reviving our tradition of cherishing nature。Speaker three、深見美希、明治学園高等学校、Nobody is perfect, but every life is important。Speaker number four、山口桃香、宮崎県立延岡高等学校、Our challenge to save the earth。Speaker number five、別所由衣、山口県立山口高校、Just be yourself。Speaker number six、三船あかり、手塚山高等学校、Make a donation and be happy。Speaker number seven、田口理央、清和女子学院高等学校、A little goes a long way。A little goes a long way。Speaker number eight、森心美、福岡県立福岡高等学校、Little by little。Speaker number nine、茨城ロミリン、福岡県立限界高等学校、Beauty in depth。Speaker number ten、石川千里、長崎日本大学高等学校、A happy day for everyone。Speaker number 11、中島楓、慶信高等学校、My favorite fruit。Speaker number 12、石積琴井、光が丘女子高校、Something young people should never have to go through。Speaker number 13、パネル千里、光が丘女子高校、Let's all take a deep breath together。Speaker number 14、渡辺椎名、熊本県立宇土高校、The Diet Dilemma。The last speaker、末永ココナ、福山あけぼの星女子高等学校、Challenge the system, save a child。以上、15名の方々のスピーチとなります。それでは、そのスピーチをこれからご覧ください。
begins with an affectionate hug from my mother. She does this because she doesn't know what each day will bring, and she never wants to have any regrets. My mother and my father never take each day for granted. Why do they feel this way? It's because they suffered pain and loss early in their married life. They experienced feeling helpless as they watched their firstborn wander through the boundaries of life and death at the ICU. 3 years after that, they dealt with the pain of losing a child in an accident. They both realized that they'll never know what tomorrow will bring or take away. Accident, and the news was broadcast nationwide. Can you imagine how my parents must have felt at that time? I was too young to understand the gravity of what had happened, but I felt the sadness and changes in my parents. I learned later that even if my father was smiling, he was not really smiling. Deep sadness was hidden behind his eyes. My mother would burst into tears many times after my sister's death. She was apparently blaming herself too much. My parents were both on the verge of collapse. How did they overcome that crisis? They shared a deep sense of loss and sadness. They shared their love for me and continued to shower me with affection. My parents didn't run away from the reality in front of them. Gradually, they came to believe that their daughter will always live in their hearts. Each time my parents faced a crisis, they endured and tried to overcome it together. The unbearable sadness after my sister's death was replaced by a rival joy when my new baby sister Rikako was born. My home was filled with joy and laughter again. Their experiences taught them that life is a moment, and that pain and sorrow help us deepen our understanding of life. They taught me to do what can be done today because nobody knows what will happen tomorrow. When I refused to take on a challenge, my mother got angry like a fiery fire. I hate people who don't even try, she said. That happened when I was preparing for an English speech contest last year. The practice was very, very hard for me, and I wanted to quit, but she wouldn't let me. I thought I would never be ready, but I had positive pressure from my parents. I did my best and won the first prize. I learned from them how to seize the day. Thank you.
an ugly and horrible creature that looks like a mass of black maggots is a technical village. This is the first scene of the Jibe theme, Mononoke Hime. The creature, which is originally a wild boar, represents the god of nature. The god is furious that human beings have cleared a forest. In the latter half of the film, the Ushikozen, our leader of humans, says, "We cannot coexist with nature." Is this true? 2 years ago, I went for walking in Honolulu, Hawaii. While walking, I saw something strange. A lot of native Hawaiians were shouting and waving Kanaka flags, the flag of native Hawaiians. At that time, I didn't attach a lot of significance to what I saw, but the scene did stay with me. A couple months later, while watching the news back home in Japan, I found out why those people were upset. The US government was going to build a big telescope on Mauna Kea, a holy mountain for native Hawaii. The people also in Hawaii were protesting against it. In an interview, an old woman said, "Mauna Kea is a holy place with a lot of history. Many people have prayed to Mauna Kea." Then she began to cry. I realized then that I didn't fully understand Hawaiian culture, even though I had stayed there every summer since I was 3 years old. After that, I started studying Hawaiian culture and discovered how interesting it was. One aspect of Hawaiian culture that I like is its reverence for nature. An example of this reverence is a rule regarding sunscreen. In Hawaii, you can't use sunscreen that contains chemicals that are harmful to ocean life. Most shops in Hawaii sell organic sunscreen. Hawaii has also decided to restrict plastic products. The use of disposable plastics in Hawaii will be totally banned by 2022 because marine pollution has become a very serious problem there. In Hawaii, many people do their part to protect the environment. For example, local surfers pick up rubbish from the beach after surfing. When I go surfing in Hawaii, I do it too. It's not tough work, but I think it's important, and I'm glad to do it because it will make people smile in the future. Keeping nature safe for future generations is something the Hawaiians take very seriously. What about Japanese people? Japanese people used to believe that goes really all natural things and use cherish nature just like Hawaiians do. However, I think the Japanese people have almost forgotten this culture. I don't think that we Japanese cherish nature. For instance, Japan is famous for over-packaging, but Japanese people don't regard it as a serious problem. These days, we do have to pay for plastic bags in Japan, but this is not enough. Many foreign countries have passed laws prohibiting plastic products. Japan should do this too. Also, Japanese people should form organizations that volunteer to pick up trash from places like beaches and parks. Our society should not be one where humans fight against nature, like in the Ghibli film Mononoke Hime. Instead, our society should be one where humans coexist with nature. We can do it by remembering to respect nature. I believe that we can do it because we are Japanese. Thank you for listening.
At early dawn one morning in July 2016, a young man snagged into a special nursing home and stabbed 19 people with intellectual disability, one after another. She screamed, "Can you speak?" at a woman, and when she didn't reply, he killed her. It was reported that he believed that people with disabilities are not needed in the world. These words struck my heart. I started to wonder if it is true. I had a sister who had a handicap. She could not move on her own, and she could not speak. Today, I would like to talk about my family's experience and my feelings towards the murderer's opinion. The day my sister was born was a hot sunny day in August. My mother almost died during the delivery. My sister was born with asphyxia and could not breathe at all. She then suffered from cerebral palsy. She grew up little by little. 2 years later, I was born with a healthy body and grew up alongside my sister. Her health was fragile, and she would often get bone fractures and pneumonia. We had to suffer a dispute every day and night. As she was unable to take food by her mouth, she had to get nutrition through her stomach. She entered a special nursing home when she was 5 years old. My sister and I had many disabled friends in the facility, and I noticed there were many people with various kinds of disability all over the world. In summer, we enjoyed small fireworks while staying there overnight. I also brought some stuffed animals and food I liked to share with her. Though she was unable to smile and we couldn't know how she felt, it was a very special time for our family. My sister's physical condition deteriorated and recovered day by day, but one day it took a turn for the worse. One cold snowy morning in December, I was woken up by my parents. They told me my sister's condition was worsening. On our way to the hospital, my father told us that she had passed away. I cried all day long. I had never taken into consideration that she would pass away so early. I believed that we would be able to grow up together. I was 11 years old. Looking back on my time with her, I loved my sister, but those days were considerably tough for my family. However, when she passed away, we didn't feel relief. It was not like taking back comfortable days either. Instead, we felt like we lost the very center of our family. We missed her terribly. We realized that each of us were deeply connected with her, and that our family was deeply connected by helping my sister. In helping her, we became more giving and felt she needed us. She taught us the joy of helping people. I think humans can be helped by helping each other. If everyone is perfect and there is no one to help, we cannot help or cooperate with each other. Human society needs not only strong people, but also weak people, so that we can be more considerate of one another. Imagine a world of only perfect people. It may run well, but what a cold world it would be. I can say I definitely disagree with the murderer's words, because we clearly recognize how much we needed my sister after her death. Nobody is perfect, but there's not one person who is not needed in the world. Thank you for listening.
To start off, I'd like to ask you a question. What kind of convenience store onigiri or rice bowl do you like the best? There are many types of onigiri, such as salt, salmon roll, and tuna, aren't there? Personally, I like plum onigiri the best. Now here's another question. What would you think if you could not eat onigiri? Can you imagine your daily life without rice? Nobody could believe that we would not be able to eat the staple food of Japan, right? But it could indeed become a reality if we go like this. I have been interested in global warming since I was an elementary school student. I read a picture book called Solar Bear. It is a story about two polar bear brothers who are separated from their mother as a result of global warming. I still remember thinking, I must save them. So I did things like taking my own bag to the store when I went shopping. I became aware of the impact of my actions. Now I am a high school student. One day, my class discussed climate change. I was impressed. We talked about why some countries are not cooperating, looking at materials about carbon dioxide emissions. I was surprised by one opinion. It was that people in developed countries hardly feel the effects of global warming. Everyone knows that global warming is bad, but we have thought that it's not a problem. What do you think? I think it's true. In Japan, we have not suffered so much from global warming. After that discussion, I tried more energy-saving actions. For a while, I used the air conditioner, not in cooling mode, but in dry mode. I thought it was much more efficient than other modes. However, I found that I was wrong. According to an article in the Nihon Keizai Shimbun, dry mode needs more electricity than cooling mode. So I learned that what you think is right may actually be wrong. Now I think it is important to learn the right facts. So please imagine the future of Japan and the world in the year 2100, which is 80 years from now. Let's imagine the future based on the information from the Ministry of the Environment. If we don't take action against global warming, the global average temperature will rise by 4.8 degrees Celsius. The average temperature of Miyazaki Prefecture, where I live, in July is 25.8 degrees Celsius. So in 80 years from now, it may become 13.6 degrees Celsius. Here is an effect that could take place if that were to happen. There will be rice shortages. Rice wouldn't be able to adapt to the changing environment, and the harvest of the domestic rice would decrease. Do you remember my first question? What do you think we will live upon if we weren't able to eat rice? Wheat, potatoes, grass, maybe insects? For me, eating only insects would be absolutely impossible. So maybe I wouldn't eat anything at all in the future. To improve this situation, it is necessary for each of us to think about what we can do as well as study the correct information. Even small things that we can do on our own have a big impact if we all do them together. So please don't stop trying. Please keep challenging yourself. And let's save not only onigiri and polar bears, but also humanity. Thank you for listening.
How much do you know about yourself? What are your strong points? Not a single person is the same. All of the differences between you and others are your special qualities and good points. When I was a junior high school student, I had an opportunity to learn about gender identity disorder from a guest speaker. Before the speech, I had vaguely thought that it had nothing to do with me. However, I soon realized I was totally wrong. His lesson taught me it is important what truly makes us, and it is alright to be different from others. Since then, my attitude toward myself and people around me has changed. In his speech, he repeated, "Just be yourself." He was born a girl, but he had trouble identifying himself as a girl. He struggled with a mismatch between mind and body. He suffered from anxiety because of the differences from others. He shut himself away for fear of being rejected. One day, however, his life changed. He gathered his courage and came out to a friend close to him. The words he had in return were, "Just be yourself. You are what you are." His years of pain was gone like magic. He thought to himself, "It is alright to accept myself. The mismatch between mind and body is not an unusual thing, but part of individuality. Being different is nothing to be ashamed of, but something to be cherished." So, what about us? Everyone has their own taste and unique character, but do we accept such qualities and cherish them? Many of us don't. We hesitate to express ourselves for fear of being rejected. We try to lose our identities in order to fit in. At a Japanese school in particular, conformity is highly valued. Being diverse makes us just uncomfortable. We feel like an outsider just because we are different from others. Many of us are always worried about being left out. These days, people often talk about diversity or diverse society. But can we really create such a society when we reject our own differences like this? Your differences are what makes you special. Your uniqueness is what makes you interesting. Only when we understand this can we appreciate different qualities of others too. We can create an environment where everyone can openly express themselves and build true friendships based on mutual trust. Then, what can we start with? The first step is opening your heart and talking about your true self with others. It may need courage, but your uniqueness will be surely recognized and respected by someone. Then, you will gain confidence in yourself. Not only that, your positive attitude toward yourself can open the minds of others. It can change the environment around you into a place where everyone can appreciate different values and qualities and spread their unlimited possibilities. Please remember, if you have lost what truly makes you, you are not you. Please don't reject yourself just because you are different. Please look into yourself and accept your true self. If all of us can do this, we can create a much more enjoyable society for everyone. Me? I am a little unusual girl. I don't like following what other girls do, but they accept me and I accept them. Thanks to his lesson, I can be more positive about myself and others as well. I want many more to join me and be confident in themselves. Because it is alright to be different. Just be yourself. Thank you.
Angelina Jolie donated $1 million to children who couldn't eat because the school shut down by COVID-19. I saw that news this spring. I thought, it's incredible. She has a lot of money and she's generous. I don't have that kind of money, so I can't do such a thing. Or perhaps, can I? When I searched online, there were so many organizations seeking support, and I found that I could donate from 300 yen. There were organizations which collect plastics to protect marine life, and organizations which distribute food to homeless people, and a lot more. What was shocking to me was the picture of children who spent hours going out to get water without studying at school. So I thought that I wanted to support the education of children who couldn't study because of poverty. This was the first time I wanted to make a donation of my own will. I chose to donate to an NPO that supports 4 children in 7 countries. There were 3 reasons I chose this NPO. First, the donation amount of 1,000 yen every month was not difficult for me to start. Second, it was clearly stated that donations will be used for stationery for 40 children. Third, we receive a report from the children with photos and emails every month. Later, when I received an email from a Nepalese child who said, "I got a new notebook," I was delighted that my donation made the life of someone a little better. And I received a thank you video message with a lot of smiles from the staff of this organization. I was pleased that my little act has done something for those people. And I realized that the most important thing was a donation made both the donor and the recipient happy. I wondered why so few people make donations in Japan, even though it gives so much happiness. Looking at the ratio of GDP, I found that Japan is about 1/10 of the United States and about 1/5 of the United Kingdom and South Korea. According to the 2018 World Giving Index ranking, Japan is ranked 128th out of 139 countries. Why is Japanese ratio so low? Because we don't have a spirit of helping each other? Because we're stingy? No. I think the reason is that in Japan, people are not aware that a donation can bring mutual benefits. In fact, just as I've experienced, you can actually see the face of the recipient, which makes you feel happy. Besides, you can do it with their pocket money easily. Recently, the style of donations has changed. Thanks to the advance in crowdfunding, everyone can now raise donations. And if you're wondering where to donate, there's also a handy website that will automatically select the best group for you with Q&A. It connects those who need donations and those who want to donate easier than before. You go to the games of your favorite baseball team and fly balloons to support them, don't you? You enroll in your favorite singer's fan club and buy CDs, don't you? A donation is just another way to support someone you like. A donation is nothing special. It's like starting a new hobby. Let's make a donation. It will make everyone happy. Thank you for listening.
One day, a poster in the back of my classroom caught my eye. It said, "Why not plant seedlings in Vietnam? Help the mangrove forest recover from the devastating stress of war." Since I became a high school student, I have been a member of the 10,000 high school student signatures campaign to eliminate all nuclear weapons. As a part of these activities, we convey the importance of peace. We also deliver stationery to poverty-stricken children who cannot afford materials to study. Through these activities, I met 4 high school students and learned about peace efforts overseas. It got me thinking I wanted to do more. Going back to the time when I saw the poster with this feeling of wanting to do more in my heart, my mind was telling me that it was time for me to apply for the volunteer project in Vietnam. My experience in Vietnam was an event that left a strong impression on me. I worked in a muddy field that was so thick I could barely lift my legs out as I walked through it. It was much harsher than I had imagined. The other volunteers and I lifted the watery, heavy soil with a shovel half our size and dug a hole. Slowly but surely planting seedlings and breathing life into the damaged field. I planted them with the hope that although it is small now, it will grow bigger in the future and nourish this forest. When I climbed the observatory after I finished planting, I looked around and I saw some fully grown mangrove trees on the outskirts that the local people had planted right after the war to replace the ones that were lost. I realized that it was a damaging war and that it will take a long time to replace the beautiful forest, even though many people have been planting trees for the last 40 years. A local man said to me, "As a Vietnamese person, I am deeply grateful to you for coming from Japan and helping us." When he said that, I felt that our tree planting was a step towards recovery and peace. It moved me deeply. After planting seedlings, we visited a place called Kuchi Tomo deep in the jungle. This is a place where the Vietnamese people dug deep air defense shelters under the ground and lived there during the war to protect themselves. It was a terrifying place. Inside the tunnel, it was so dark and narrow that we had to squat to go through. It was stuffy, and I felt petrified that I might be buried alive at any moment. There were also traps that were used to kill the enemy. When I saw them, I couldn't stop shaking with fear. I learned that to live in a war-stricken area, that is, to live side by side with death, is to be ruled by fear and to live without freedom or happiness. This experience has made me realize that the peaceful world we live in today is thanks to the efforts and sacrifices of many people. This is a wonderful thing, and we should never take it for granted. I strongly believe that we must do something so that we do not repeat the same mistake of war in the future. I think there are things we can do, no matter how small, such as caring for others and helping those around us. Even if it is a small action, it still makes a difference. A little goes a long way. I want to make an effort, be it only small, to make sure that the time when people are ruled by fear and live without freedom never comes to the world again. I hope my small actions can bring a smile to even one person that would then infect the whole world with happiness. Thank you.
We love to thirst. It is our planet. We love to thirst. It is our home. Have you heard these lines before? They're from the song Earth by Little Dicky. This song conveys an important message about where the Earth is headed if we don't address climate change. When I heard this song, it made me realize the importance of working to save our planet. I knew about these problems, but I used to think of them as someone else's problems. These 2 lines of the song helped me to examine the issues that the Earth faces: poverty, conflict, terrorism, climate change, resource depletion, to name just a few. we humans are facing a number of unprecedented challenges. It is said that if nothing is done, we are on a path to self-extinction. From this sense of crisis, the United Nations set global goals to navigate us to a sustainable world. These are known as Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. These days, we often hear this acronym, SDGs. You might have seen people wearing those colorful donut-shaped badges with the SDGs logo on their suits. The SDGs are world-changing objectives that will require cooperation among governments, international organizations, and world leaders. It seems impossible that the average person like me can affect these global issues. The world has spotlighted them, but are we really accomplishing these goals? Or are we just paying lip service to them? Under the slogan of Leave No One Behind, the SDGs have set 17 goals and 169 targets for a better society. However, the specific efforts vary from country to country, and the degree of achievement also varies. The results so far of the countries participating in these SDGs were updated in July of 2020. Sweden ranked first in the overall achievement ranking. Denmark, which was held the previous year, ranked second place. Finland was third for the second consecutive years. France, Germany, and Norway followed. The top 10 were occupied by European countries. From this, we can see the SDGs are particularly advanced in Europe. Japan was ranked 17th, but there are goals that have been missed or can be done better. For example, number 12, responsible consumption and production. Number 13, climate action. And number 14, life below water. When I was researching about these problems, I found the Ocean Waste Cleanup Project, started by a high school student, Boyan's Flat. When he went to Greece, he was shocked to see more plastic and fish in the ocean. After 2 years, he decided to clean the ocean and set up this project. He successfully raised about $2 million via crowdfunding. The project has started and is being tested in Japan, the North Sea, San Francisco, and other places. I was astonished that a high school student like me took action and contributed to the world. Besides him, there are other young people who have stepped forward in the world to bring about change, such as Greta Thunberg. So, I thought I can help in a small way by doing something differently. Everyone knows that using eco bags and reusable bottles are a good initiative for the global environment. But when you go shopping, don't you get a plastic bag? You may think it is just one plastic bag and just one person too, but it affects the world. Small individual actions can have a huge effect when many people do it and have a huge impact on helping to achieve these goals. Know and do are completely different. Individuals can take actions in their normal day-to-day lives and encourage family and friends to do the same. Let's save the world by our little actions. The world is depending on us. The answer to the question, how can we achieve a sustainable world and how can individuals do their part, is what we, who will be the next leaders in the world, must search for and find. Thank you.
Overwhelmed, yet filled with the curiosity and the eagerness to buy. This is what I exactly feel every single time I get a chance to walk into most cosmetic stores in Japan. Shelves are tightly stacked with variety of products, from fun to bright packaging to innovative formulas that could definitely draw the attention of passers-by. We wouldn't get excited to try these things out. But what I unconsciously followed as a trend might be putting someone's life in danger. For example, a broad range of makeup products such as eyeshadows and highlighters that has a sparkly, shimmery finish effect most likely have an ingredient called mica on it. Mica? So what is mica? It's a mineral that is used on our makeup, and it helps beauty industry meet the increasing demand for natural alternatives, as it is said to have no side effects, and it's suited for almost all skin types. Not to mention that it's also used in things like automobiles and electric appliances. So technically, we're surrounded by it. It's safe to use, and we benefit a lot from it in different kind of ways. So what is the problem looking behind the sparkle it brings to our makeup? Well, actually, there's nothing wrong with the use of mica itself. It's the working conditions of those who mine it. Apparently, cosmetic industry supplies majority of its sources from India, where children in poor towns make a living every day by mining this raw material amid danger. They have no choice but to work underpaid and under poor conditions without any safety equipment because of extreme poverty, which makes majority of them unable to go to school. Despite it being illegal and unregulated, there are companies and suppliers that still carry this on and manage to put in our makeup because it's easily hidden. The main reason why I felt the need to bring more awareness with this kind of issue was because I think that we invest a lot of money on cosmetics and it's something we're accustomed using. Yet information concerning unethical mica are not provided enough in Japanese. The lack of information makes it difficult to bring up such a sensitive topic. So, what can we do as a consumer? See, share, and stand up. First, seek. Seek for accurate and reliable information about the products we buy. What kind of material or ingredient do they use? Have they been unethical in any way? It's our responsibility to be informed about the current issue that might be associated with the products we buy. Second, share. To make the availability of the information more accessible for a wide audience, we can share our knowledge or thoughts to other people in Japanese. We can use social media accounts to spread awareness about what is happening and what they can learn from it. Lastly, and most importantly, stand up. Boycotting products that has mica might seem like a good solution, but it is unlikely to solve the problem. Instead, we can support companies and brands that prioritize fair pay and safe child labor by purchasing their products. We can use social media as well as a platform to promote their products. It's easy to feel discouraged as it's a big problem to be talked about, but small steps are powerful enough to make big changes. Be a model and try to invite others to do as well.
My parents own a wedding venue, and they help newlyweds start their lives. I've been used to seeing weddings since I was a little girl, and I've always believed that weddings should be the happiest event for everyone. However, one day my mother told me that attending a wedding is not always a happy thing. She went on to say that marriage is usually between a man and a woman, but some people have different sexual orientations. Attending a wedding makes them realize that they are different from the majority of people. And even if they want to marry the person they love, they imagine that their friends and family won't support them. They may be hurt just by attending a wedding. I was shocked that I didn't realize this. I was disappointed to learn that wedding is not always a happy event for some minorities. I might have hurt someone else without realizing it. You could say this was the first time I understood the meaning of diversity. To be honest, it is not something that we discuss in my community. Maybe my hometown lacks a sense of diversity because of its strong traditional customs. Maybe some LGBT members feel uncomfortable with living here, and finally, they feel no choice but to leave. And that's too bad because with a few simple changes, we can make our towns more inviting and open to members of the LGBT community. There have been attempts to change, but change has been slow. In March 2015, Shibuya Ward in Tokyo became the first area in Japan to recognize gay marriage. But other cities have been slow to follow suit. Shibuya's recognition of same-sex marriage reflects growing public support for LGBT rights. A poll by the Mainichi Shimbun newspaper showed 44% of respondents approve of same-sex marriage, while 39% opposed it. As it stands, these relationships are still not recognized at the national level, meaning that LGBT couples continue to suffer discrimination in housing, healthcare, and financial issues. There have been many high-profile incidents regarding discrimination here in Japan. In 2018, Mio Sugita, a lower house member of the Liberal Democratic Party, wrote the same-sex couples don't produce children. In other words, they lack productivity and do not contribute to the prosperity of the nation. She was heavily criticized for her remarks, but leaders of her party did nothing. What does this tell our LGBT members? Will the people of Japan ignore these people and allow others to bully them? It doesn't have to be this way. Around the world, communities have been recognizing the important contributions that LGBT members have been making. Same-sex marriage is now recognized by more than 25 countries. Japan needs to do better. I would like to see my own community join Shibuya Ward in recognizing same-sex partnerships. As more and more communities show their support, this will put pressure on the national government to do the same. But action needs to take place now. I imagine someday soon seeing a member of the LGBT community coming to my family's wedding venue, enjoying their happiest day. Wouldn't that be a nice thing to see? Thank you for listening.
My favorite fruit. It's the first day of class. Your teacher asks you to introduce yourself, your name, nickname, and your favorite fruit. How do you and your classmates answer? In my experience, most of my classmates told the class that strawberries are their favorite fruit. Sometimes, when my turn comes, I don't know what to answer. It's easiest for me just to copy what everyone else says. Actually, this is a common situation in Japan. Japanese students are likely to copy whoever went first to avoid standing out in class. Why? Does this affect how students learn? When I lived in America, I faced the same situation that happened in Japan. My teacher asked all students in the class to introduce their favorite fruits on the first day. At first, I worried because I barely knew the English alphabet, let alone how to introduce myself and something I like. To make matters much worse, most of my classmates like different fruits from one another, even some more uncommon fruits like dragon fruit, kiwis, and coconuts. They even had reasons why they liked them. I panicked because I couldn't copy their answers like I had done before in Japan. It was so embarrassing. It takes a lot of courage for Japanese students to announce their opinion in front of a quiet class. In America, it was almost the opposite. Trying to have a unique and interesting opinion was very important in order to make friends with my classmates. It was so difficult to make friends, and some classmates bullied me because I was too shy. I had an identity crisis while I lived there. I felt that I didn't have my own opinions without someone to let me know beforehand if what I thought was okay, even if it was about the type of fruit I liked. I can't be the only one here that has experienced such a feeling. What causes this anxiety in students? I think the answer is simple. Peer pressure. The pressure to act as same as everyone else is really strong, but this creates many bullies in schools. In my school, I noticed some girls laughed when other students expressed different opinions during class. This can hurt students' confidence. How can we solve the pressure to conform in Japanese classrooms? Accepting new ideas and sharing our own way of thinking can only help us learn from each other and grow as students. Now that I've become a high school student, I try hard to state my opinion clearly in class, even if it's not a popular one. I believe doing so has helped my classmates open up a little. And if my opinion is laughed at, I remember the words of my favorite poet to stay strong. We're all different, and we're all wonderful. So, to the students in this room, when a teacher asks you what your favorite fruit is, don't copy the first person and say strawberries. Really think and share your opinion, even if it's just about fruit. Be decisive and confident. Only in this way can we create classrooms that allow for many different opinions and ideas. And finally, I'd like to tell you something. I think peaches are much more delicious than strawberries. Thank you.
When I was at elementary school, I was bullied in my club. At that time, no one around me seemed to be on my side. I felt that I could never get over the difficulties that I was facing. And eventually, I couldn't find any reasons to keep on living. So I made the decision to take my own life. Thankfully, I'm still here. Here to tell you that people should never be pushed that far. Unfortunately, though, that's exactly what continues to happen in our society. On May 23rd this year, Hana Kimura, a 22-year-old professional wrestler, took her own life. She had appeared on a TV program called Terrace House, and her behavior on that show received a lot of negative attention
on social media. Hannah was so badly affected by the non-stop slander that she saw suicide as the only way out. My situation in elementary school was terrible, but it must be so much harder when the slander and bullying comes 24 hours a day, even when you are relaxing at home. Social media can be great, but it also has this dark side. For Hannah, the online hate was relentless, and soon she was unable to stand it anymore. Her age group, soon to be mine, is the most at risk. According to research conducted by the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare in Japan, the main reason for death for people in their 20s is suicide. Suicide makes up 50% of all deaths in this age range. 50%. Clearly, we must do more to address this tragic issue. It is suggested that among other mental health issues, internet addiction disorder has been playing an increasing role in youth suicide. People with internet addiction disorder check social media without any purpose, and they just can't stop using it. They consult people online rather than in person, and they prefer playing games rather than hanging out with their real friends. They also tend to get irritated easily, have strong mood swings, and have heightened sensitivity. Do you know anyone who matches that description? Do you know anyone who seems withdrawn or extremely down recently? Have you witnessed a classmate being bullied? If you answered yes to any of those questions, your support could be the key to reducing these terrible numbers. For people with depression, whether it's related to internet addiction disorder or not, intervention by friend and family can be the key. So if you know someone who is displaying any of these signs, here is what you can do. First, you could ask him or her if they are doing all right. If not, you can listen to what the problems are so that you can be their support. This is a very simple thing, but I think this is also important to try to understand the situation properly. Second, you could ask him or her to go out with you for a change so that they can be away from the bullies. Third, you can learn about internet addiction disorder or bullying to know how to deal with people facing associated problems. Back when I was at elementary school, had someone reached out to me like this, I would never have been forced to make that awful decision. Please be more aware of the people around you, and please don't be afraid to lend your support. If we make a society in which all people are capable of such empathy, we will have created a society in which no more elementary school students have to contemplate suicide, and no more Hannah Kimuras will be lost.
Let us all take a deep breath together. Thank you. I needed that. And from my research, a large number of you needed that too. We are living in a ridiculously fast-paced society. We finish one project or task and then immediately dive straight into the next one. We are always in a hurry thinking that we need to do things faster than others because we want to stay on top or at least not fall further behind. We have turned our lives into one big race and the days disappear in the blink of an eye. Living in this world, I pushed hard to be successful at everything I did. But that led to a time when the only words that would come from my mouth were, I am tired. That was when I knew something had to change. And it did. I said goodbye to the exhaustion and feelings of helplessness and hello to my long-lost smile simply by learning how to pause and breathe. If you were to listen to the same song on repeat for hours and hours, wouldn't you feel like you wanted to press pause even for just a second? It is the same with our daily lives. We follow the same routine every day. We wake up, have breakfast, go to school, go home, eat, then sleep. We get stuck in our routines and let the years pass by. That was what was happening to me until I decided that I just needed to find a way to pause. So I gave myself 10 minutes a day. Just 10 minutes of the 1,440 minutes we have each day had a huge impact on me. I now focus better, I prioritize tasks and plan my days better, and my productivity is higher than it has ever been. It sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, there's one other thing I do in those 10 minutes that I am sure has contributed to the amazing results. I close my eyes and breathe. I breathe in for 4 seconds and out for 10. I allow thoughts to enter my mind, but I do not get stuck on them and react. I do not allow myself to feel overwhelmed no matter how much work I think I have to do. Instead, I just appreciate the moment. When I started doing this, I had no idea it was actually a common form of meditation called mindfulness. People around the world were doing exactly the same thing because it was leading to reduced stress, enhanced performance, increased attention, and greater awareness. Noticing the positive impacts mindfulness has had on so many others, I wondered why it wasn't something we were learning at school. As I researched this idea, I discovered that schools in other countries actually do practice mindfulness. At my sister's school in Australia, all students pause twice a day where the voice of a mindfulness instructor is played over the school public address system with relaxing music in the background. The students there were skeptical at first, but they are now enjoying the benefits. Learning that schools in other countries are teaching their students how to manage the stresses of their daily lives both disappointed and inspired me. I was disappointed that we weren't learning mindfulness here in Japan, but inspired to try and bring that change to our school system. I have now started talking to teachers at my school about introducing mindfulness time during integrated studies lessons. If I can get my school to start offering such training, you can do this too. Please talk to your teachers and school leaders, and little by little, we can help people understand that educating students by just ramming knowledge into their heads is not a complete education. Focusing on mental health through simple mindfulness meditation training might be just as important. Without mental stability and control, we will never be able to achieve the academic successes our teachers hoped for us. So please join me in bringing better balance to education by making us all a little more mindful. Thank you.
Diet. I'm sure all of you have heard the word diet. What does it mean? To be thin? To be healthy? What images do you see when you hear the word diet? My birthday is on May 6th. Did you know it's an important day around the world? This year, on my 16th birthday, my mother said to me, "Today is World Laughter Day, Lemonade Day, No Homework Day, and International No Diet Day." No Diet Day? What kind of day is that? Are there many people who don't want to be on a diet? I had to find out, so I searched online for more information and was very surprised by what I learned. International No Diet Day is an annual celebration for loving your body as it is. It means accepting your body shape and size regardless of what other people think or say. It was created by Mary Vance Young, a British woman who faced many problems because of her weight. She wrote a book called Diet Breaking after battling anorexia, which is an eating disorder. She wanted to help people appreciate both themselves and the body they had. She developed her ideas through her experiences of being bullied for being overweight, as well as by speaking to other women who have faced the same challenges. Many people around the world who are overweight or of a different body shape frequently experience body shaming. But it doesn't stop there. Many thin people develop eating disorders because they fear gaining weight and facing body shaming. This can be detrimental to both physical and mental health. Photoshopped images and cyberbullying have been marked as direct causes for the rise in eating disorders among the youth of today. Many people try to look like the models and celebrities they see in magazines or online. Many famous people have also suffered from eating disorders too. For example, Taylor Swift faced a lot of body shaming from paparazzi and critics. She developed anorexia and wouldn't eat for many days. She eventually overcame her struggles because it was affecting her ability to perform. But International No Diet Day isn't only about eating disorders. It was developed to help raise awareness about the food crisis in the world. In many countries, there is a widespread scarcity of food caused by several factors, including war, crop failure, inflation, imbalanced population growth, or government policies. Some countries, particularly those in sub-Saharan Africa, have unbelievably bad cases of famine. Agriculture's conditions have been fluctuating more and more due to factors like global warming. So many people need food. By researching International No Diet Day, I learned some important things. This day promotes healthy lifestyle choices for all body types and mindsets of those who need food. Bodies can be beautiful in all shapes and sizes. You could cause yourself harm if you try to lose weight rapidly or aim for unrealistic body images. Instead, be active, develop healthy eating habits, and be grateful for the ability to choose what you eat. Love yourself and your body, just the way you are. Thank you.
Why do people get checks? I think we need to say it is to see the famous sights and it's a famous food-rich place. See the Statue of Liberty, walk on the Great Wall of China. It was authentic pizza in Italy. I myself had seen a bowl when I visited Cambodia. I wanted to see the famous Angkor Wat and its delicious coconuts. My name after all is coconut. However, I quickly learned that's what people experience as grown up to the sights I'm seeing and the foods I'm eating. Let me tell you a story. While we were traveling, my family took a tour of Angkor Wat. As we go to the ice, we were overwhelmed with a great number of really simple souvenirs. Among the goodies were many children. Some simply 2 years ago was poor. They were dressed in short and t-shirts. I had many of them had that disguise from not wearing sandals. They were very happy to see us and we introduced them to each other to sell us things. I I was surprised to hear these young children speaking so many languages. They would talk to us in Japanese, another in Chinese, and yet another in English. A little girl came up to me and ran through the class. Would you like to buy this souvenir? It was a little refreshing language, looking so cute and innocent. I was about to buy it. Well, I tried by caution. It is not good to buy things from children, she whined. Why? I asked. These young children are being put to work by their parents. That is why they are not in school. If you give them money, their parents will just take it and force them to work more. If you don't stop spying from the children, they are not learn that it is not profitable to exploit children in this way. I was shocked. It never occurred to me that buying a cheap souvenir for my child would be harmful to her. I felt very heartbroken and wondered what I could do to help. Back in Japan, I listened to the child record. What would happen? Who can fix it? How can we change this system? Why? This happens because some countries see children as commodities as other people. Over the parents go into financial hard times, and the children are forced to work overnight. In many cases, the parents are also promoted child babies, and as a result, their bodies are very big at a very early age. The children work to save their parents and get trapped in the same cycle. This trap can be broken because the children never get a chance to the skills needed for their life. What can we do? First of all, you have to be more aware about where things come from. Ever wonder why trade is so cheap? It is because saving child labor is usually to cut costs. Doesn't seem so sweet anymore, does it? Knowledge about these things may get us into making more humane choices. Second, we need leaders who will protect human lives. While some may say we shouldn't interfere in the country's affairs, as long as they wish to sell products, we should not allow them to cease their living in a humane way. Third, we have to make going to school look like a good financial alternative to child labor. For example, was Pakistani budget systems where children get paid to school. Making the schooling new job will help the family work at the same time, educate and protect the children so they will foster results. Others have feel that people experience is the most important part of travel. I went to Cambodia one over as organs. But left to the image was that poor future same magnets. No foreign all should be forced to work, no matter their country or country. Would you like to see a child working a dirty factory or stealing things on the street? If you find such ideas, please join me in taking steps to make all children happy. Thank you for listening.
Hi. What did you think? They were all so great. Just great. I'm so impressed. Well, actually, I watched this video, a couple of times before this speech contest, but again, I was impressed. They were all super. Wow. Congratulations to you all. Now, let's wait for the judges to come in. I have emailed them right now, so they should be coming in onto this webinar in any minute. So would you please wait?特に最初の方に音声関係が途切れたり雑音が入ったりしてしまいました。申し訳ありません。審査にはもちろん影響はありませんので、その点はご心配いただかなくて結構なんですけれども、せっかく楽しみにこの場で聞こう、または友達、もしかしたら家の方と一緒に聞いているという方もいたかもしれませんが、その点お詫びいたします。2時半を目安にというふうにお伝えしていたし、今もメールを打ったので、間もなく入ってきてくださると思うのですが、録画送っていただきましたけど、高校の中で静かな場所を見つけて録音するということが意外と難しいんだという声を伺いました。朝早くから夕方まで部活動なんかも含めて、いろいろ音が高校には溢れていて、静かな音が入らない場所を見つけるのが難しいんだという声をお聞きしました。中には高校生がまだ登校してない早い時間に収録するために朝早くから学校にやってきて収録したという苦労話もお聞かせいただきました。いろいろな意味でそういうことだけじゃなく他にもいろいろご苦労あったかと思うんですけれども、本当にありがとうございます。でこうしたスピーチ大会の在り方、オンラインの在り方というのはもしかしたら一つの分野として今後展開することができるのかなというふうにも思います。もちろん集まってですね、その場の会場の緊張感を感じながら生でやるというのが一番いいのかもしれませんが、こういう形もですね、悪くないのではないかなというふうに思います。ちょっとお待ちください。今、審査員とやり取りをしています。ちょっとトラブルあったかもしれません。ちょっと待ってください。 と。先生方入られてるみたいです。入られてるみたいですが、ちょっと待ってください。マイクロフォンがない。ですね、先生方が、ちょっと、わかりました。入ろうとされてるんですけど、入れないようです。ちょっと待ってください。谷口さんは関係ないな。ちょっと待ってください。ちょっとお待ちください。吉田先生入られました。一回入った後の、ビデオ以外の参加者を視聴者に変更。はい。ケンプ先生だった。はい。多分これで大丈夫だと思います。ケンプ先生も、here he comes. Right. All right. Thank you for joining in again. Now I'd like you to make a small, short self-introduction and give the audience your general comments, please. Then from Professor Yoshida.
Okay, my name is Kensaku Yoshida, and I teach at Sophia University. This is the second year that I am here to be a judge for this contest. I was very impressed, like Professor Otani mentioned earlier on, about the quality of the speeches that you all made. I thought they were wonderful. And especially in a time like this, I know that for some of the students, it might have been a little difficult for you to find the best place to do your recording. But overall, I think the speeches were very well conducted, very well given. There were a few things that I might mention, and that is, and this is also probably because of the special situation we had this year. There were some people who really seemed to have a little difficulty in the kind of gestures that you wanted or did not want to use. Some of you, I think, maybe didn't use enough gestures or facial expressions, and maybe that made the tone of the speech a little monotonous. On the other hand, I thought there were a couple of students who probably did a little more than you might have done if you had been speaking in front of a real audience. And again, I think this is difficult because you can't get any feedback from the audience. And that's why it's very difficult to judge how much gesturing or how much facial expressions you should use. And so I know the difficulty, but I tended to see that there were a few students who had that sort of problem. But as I said, overall, the content was very interesting, and your English is very, very good, very good. And so I was very, very impressed, and I congratulate all of you on your wonderful speeches. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, Barbara Sensei, please.
I am Barbara Hoskins Sakamoto, and I'm in Kitakyushu, so not too far from most of you. I am director of the International Teacher Development Institute, and like Yoshida Sensei, I was really impressed with all of your presentations. The topics were really well chosen, very timely. You did a great job of connecting your personal experiences to what is going on in the world and in Japan. I have mentioned more than once to my fellow judges, but one of the things that impressed me the most with all of you is how well you did in speaking to a camera. It's really difficult to talk when you don't have an audience. I mean, maybe for some of you, it was easier to talk without an audience, but for most people, it's really difficult when your teacher has told you to make eye contact and to connect with the people sitting in front of you when there's nobody sitting in front of you. And I was very impressed at how well you connected with the audience behind the camera. And so that there's something left for Mr. Kemp to talk about. I'll end my comments there. Congratulations.
Right, thank you very much, Barbara Sensei. Then, Kemp Sensei, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Kemp, and I teach at Kyushu International University, also in Kitakyushu. I'd like to say thank you very much to everyone at Seinan Jogakuin for inviting me to take part in this contest and help judge. And I'd also like to say thank you very much to all of the contestants for letting me see your wonderful speeches. I really enjoyed all 15 of the speeches, and I was very impressed by the variety of topics we had today. I was kind of expecting to see 15 speeches about the coronavirus, but actually there weren't any, so that's even more impressive. Like Barbara said, speaking on a video is a slightly different skill to speaking in front of an audience. For some people it's easier, for some people it's more difficult. It also made it different for us to judge as well. We had to look for different things that we normally would. But I think this contest has been a very useful experience for everybody. And I think it's a very useful skill for today's society and in the future. So I hope everyone enjoyed the contest as much as I did. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, judges, for all the comments. These judges will be, well, after this session is over, we're going to have after the contest session on another URL. So you can talk to all the judges after this conference contest. So please, I have received how many? 6, 7 students, 6, 7 high schools who said they want to participate in that session. But from now, you can even now you can join. So please be more positive if you have time and talk to get the chance to talk to the judges, right? So judges, thank you very much. Well, you're welcome, for staying on, and or you could leave, and I can invite you again. So whichever you like. So it's up to you, right? So from now, let me announce the results. Okay. Right. All right. Which view I should use? Speaker view? What do you see now? The biggest one. Is this okay? Shit. I'm not sure. We can hear moving around. No. Showing the slide. It's perfect. Yeah. 開催、オンラインの開催。いきます。Right. Oh, all right.
Can see the slide, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks. はい。スライドがちゃんと見えているということですので、続けたいと思います。では、結果を発表したいと思います。この審査は今日行いました。もちろん事前に投稿していただいてますから日にちをかけてですね、見てはいただいたんですけど、協議は本当に今日いたしました。はい、それでは1、2、3位、それは分かると思うんですけども、その次にですね、福岡県教育委員会賞、北九州市長賞、北九州市教育委員会賞というふうに、今の3人の先生方が審査してくださった順位で並びます。それとは独立した3つの賞がまたあります。一つが北九州ゾンタ賞、ゾンタクラブ賞、アウルズ賞、そしてカナメカップ賞です。発表の順番としましては、北九州市教育委員会賞、それから北九州市長賞、それから、県教委賞3位、2位、1位と発表し、あと次に北九州ゾンタクラブアウルズ賞、そして最後にカナメ杯賞というふうに続けていきます。それでは発表いたします。The results. 北九州市教育委員会賞 goes to 中村楓さん。Congratulations. My favorite fruit. Next, 北九州市長賞 goes to 石積琴井さん。Congratulations. Next, 県教委賞、福岡県教委賞。山本杏奈さん。Congratulations. Then the third prize goes to 森ここみさん。Little by little. Congratulations. The second prize goes to 三船あかりさん。Congratulations. And the first prize goes to パネル千里さん。Congratulations. Then, three more prizes. 北九州ゾンタクラブ賞 goes to 森ここみさん。2つ目ですね。はい、この3つの賞は独立していますから、1位から6位まで、実質6位になった方がダブって取ることはあります。アウルズ賞 goes to 田口理央さん、おめでとうございます。これ2つ目ですね、あなたもね。はい。田口さん、すいません。1つ目ですね。失礼しました。はい。Finally, KANAME Cup prize goes to 三船あかりさん。Congratulations。はい、以上の結果となりました。おめでとうございます。受賞された方おめでとうございます。しかし本当に審査員の方も言われてましたし、予選の時から見ていても非常に今年は今年もレベルが高くて本当にびっくりいたしました。この後ですね、さっき少し言いましたしご連絡もしてますが、一旦この会は閉じて、懇親会を別のZoomルームで、設けたいと思いますので、もしまだ申し込んではないんだけれども参加したいという方があればYou are very welcome ですのでぜひ参加してください。URL 等は指導教員の先生かそれから、高校生自身にもメールで確か伝えていると思います。いいでしょうか。はい。本当にありがとうございました。無事にこうやって最初も言いましたけれども、本当にもう開催にこぎつけたこと、こういう時間が持てたことでも本当にもう大正解だと思います。皆さんも繰り返しにはなりますが、このコンテストに参加するという目的でいろいろ普段の英語の勉強に積み重ねでですね、さらにプラスアルファで英語を勉強する機会が増えたのではないかと思います。そういうことを我々として提供できることが何よりの喜びです。来年も開催する予定ですし、ぜひフェイストゥフェイスで行いたいものなのですが、ぜひですね、皆さんそれぞれ関心があるテーマとか英語の勉強とか引き続きしていただいて大きく羽ばたいていただきたいと思います。以上で第2回オンライン大会を閉会いたします。引き続きセッションがありますので参加したい方はどうぞ参加してください。どうもありがとうございました。